Hey everybody, welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. I'm Rockin' Robbie Billups, and today we're going to be taking a look at Ultimate Black Panther #1. That's right everybody, thanks for checking out the video. I am Rockin' Robbie Billups. Today we're going to be taking a look inside Ultimate Black Panther issue #1, recently released from Marvel Comics. These Ultimate books have come in, they've made some waves, in particular Ultimate Spider-Man. Now, Ultimate Spider-Man seems to be everybody's favorite, and Ultimate Black Panther, less so. Ultimate X-Men, less so. Everybody's obsessed with that one, but what about Ultimate Black Panther? When this book first released, there was a lot of negative reviews that first came out. Even me, I don't think I gave it a negative review, but I was like, it didn't seem very different, right? Having reread it, it is different. It is a whole different setup to the beginning of Black Panther, but it does blend in familiar elements from the comic book and the Marvel Studios movie, right? So it's got the best of the old school Jack Kirby stuff. It's got the Don McGregor stuff. It's got the Christopher Priest stuff, and it's got the even a little bit of Ta-Nehisi Coates stuff, but it's also got the MCU in there as well, right? The Chadwick Boseman Black Panther. So on the reread, I actually enjoyed this significantly more than the first time that I read it, and I just gave a bad review of issue #3 saying they needed to move the story forward because it didn't feel like it was moving anywhere. But rereading this first issue, a lot happens here. But the thing is, maybe it's a little subtle, but let's dive into it. Black Panther, Ultimate Black Panther from Marvel Comics. We start off in West Africa. There's a village, there's some workers, there's something going on, and these people are just coming in and slaughtering this village of people, these workers, right? Now, we know from Ultimate Invasion that this is Ra and Khonshu's avatars in this reality. What the Ultimate Universe is it's a reality where an evil version of Reed Richards came into it, used time travel to erase superheroes from existence, and now he rules the world with an evil cabal, but he is now temporarily gone, and during his absence, Tony Stark and others are trying to reawaken heroes to return to fight him when he comes back. That's the big setup. That's what we're building to, but each of these books so far is just taking time to build these new versions of these characters. So in this world, Moon Knight is actually a dual identity. So instead of a split personality, it's two gods representing two humans that work as one as Moon Knight. So that's pretty interesting. And they rule all of Africa. And they're sending their people in, just taking control of villages, keeping them in line, slaughtering people, just terrible, terrible stuff. And you have these two spies. We find out they're spies for Wakanda, and Wakanda is still hidden in this reality. Nobody knows it exists. Nobody knows about their technology. Nobody knows about the civilization. Nobody knows about the Black Panther. So they got two spies from Wakanda seeing this, and one of them is upset because they're just watching and they're not doing anything, but that's the orders of the king. And then they mention Ra and Khonshu. We have now seen it. They're going to go report to the king. And then we have the king wake up from a nightmare. It is T'Challa. He is the king. He is established as the king and the Black Panther already. Wonderful coloring. Let's talk about Stefano Caselli's art. The artwork is so crisp. It is flawless. I love the art. It's got a great sense of perspective, especially like, for instance, on this room right here. It feels spacious. Everything about it, from the script through the art, feels very open and very spacious, and that is something that really makes this book work artistically for me. And then the coloring. Look at that with the pink and purple and the orange and the yellow. That's a beautiful sunset that really captures a mood, right? It captures like this peaceful, beautiful place that he's waking up to out of the nightmare, representing the nightmare that was just witnessed by his spies. Great use in color there too, with a little bit of purple for those foreground characters. It's absolutely stunning, the color work here. But his wife and queen is Okoye here, right? Now, we know her usually as the head of the Dora Milaje, but here she is the queen, and they have the, they wake up, they're talking together, they're talking about tradition. T'Challa looks at the city and says traditions must change. And then we get the whole rundown about what the Maker is, who the Maker is, I should say, what he's done, and that Ra and Khonshu, who oversee the continent of Africa, they're now coming for what they don't necessarily have a complete consolidation of power on, and Wakanda will eventually be discovered. And now we get into a lot of like political stuff, which I know that that can be boring to some people. And even when I first read this book, I was expecting something a little bit more dynamic, not so cerebral, not so bogged down into the politics of things. But on the reread, it actually works because of the space that it gives everything. It's actually part of the structure visually and narratively in the book. T'Challa shows up to work. He sees his father. So there's a difference right there. His father is still alive. T'Chaka is there. No longer king. No longer Black Panther. T'Challa is that. But he's there to give him wisdom. And he's telling him he needs to go and tell these mystical people about the dream. The Voodoo Khan. The Voodoo Khan, this is where I've seen some criticisms of this book being a little bit Dune-esque, and I think that this is where more of that kind of gets to. It does kind of share some aspects with Dune for sure, but he's telling them that the Voodoo Khan are, they want his servitude to their signs and their portents. He doesn't trust them. Their power lies in superstition. He believes that Wakanda should be free of superstition, based in science. And he's like, look, they're very powerful. Share your dreams. Keep them close while you decide their fate. One should only know they are an enemy to the king after they have been destroyed. So some really Machiavellian advice from T'Chaka there to T'Challa. Then we do go to the temple of the Voodoo Khan, where begrudgingly T'Challa goes and tells the matron Amala, who's the sacred mother of the Voodoo Khan. And I'm not familiar with the idea of the Voodoo Khan being in Black Panther comics before, so this might be new. It might be something, I don't know. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong and otherwise, just let me know in the comments down below. She's offering counsel, saying that the gods sense something coming, something violent. Enemies are outside the walls. They're in our midst. Trust no one, my king. Your dreams warn you. The gods are on your sides, but gods can be fickle. And he's like, I won't be paralyzed by paranoia. I will not rule in fear of my own people. And I love this line. She says, do not choose fear, choose awareness. We will be your eyes as well. He wants to say some shit, but he doesn't. Rightly so. And he winds up just saying, thank you. I appreciate that. Then we get into the throne room where he's being met by these two spies who witnessed this atrocity that we saw in the very first pages. And they are talking about how they can get a small group of people together to go take care of it. And it's just a badass, cold-ass line from T'Challa. I take information from spies, but not strategy. You are dismissed, my king, my king. And then Shuri is there. So Shuri is like the weapons designer, and she's like the head of the war department or something like that. And she is kind of pushing to go to war. And T'Challa's like, let's get some more information. Let's chill out and know what's going on. And then Okoye backs up T'Challa. So, visually, this could be very boring. But once again, look at the framing. Look at the composition there. Look at the use of the lines, the use of color. Lots of blacks. The blacks are spotted very, very well. But these bright colors, the red and the blue on Okoye and Shuri, absolutely stand in contrast to the gold and black of T'Challa. They represent two sides. He's trying to balance it out in the middle. People are dying, T'Challa, and you want to do nothing. He's like, no, not nothing. I did not say we would do nothing. I said we would not enter a war. Father would act. That's when Okoye's like, yo, you better calm down. I understand. Whatever. I have to agree with my king and my queen, but she's not happy about it. Look at the great... Oh, look. I just totally ripped out a middle... Well, how much is this comic worth? Who cares? So anyway, this is what we do here. So look at these designs on these costumes. They're absolutely stunning. Really cool stuff. They're talking some more. She's like, yo, Shuri loves you. The only people that fear peace are soldiers. The Dora Milaje are the ones voting for war. They're aggressive. Let's just be cool. I don't envy you, my king. Today your crown is heavy. Then we cut to the leader of the Dora Milaje looking along with Shuri at all these weapons that they have, tanks and flying machines. How does it feel to see your mind laid out before you, Princess Shuri? It feels like all of it could do more. Beyond Wakanda, you mean? You want the outside world to know us. I want the enemies of the innocent to fear us. If they trespass here, they shall. I sense your conflict. Use it to fuel your mind. Build us something beautiful. Beautiful colors. Once again, the skyline, the city, the costumes. And then another village in West Africa that gets visited by these minions of the Moon Knights. And right before they can kill this kid, somebody shows up and saves him. This is Killmonger. Killmonger shows up. He's like, hide, more are coming. He stands against them alone. My love, bless them. Boom, 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 some crack. Lightning from the sky takes out the machine. Killmonger, look at this great layout here. The sense of action, it amps up. There is action in here. And look at the beautiful, bright colors. These are not colors you see in typical comics from the mainstream anymore. Bold choices that separate foreground from background, but also still accentuate mood and tone and atmosphere and movement, the speed lines. All these dudes coming at Killmonger. He's got this axe he throws at him. It activates whoever this person is, hits it with a lightning bolt. Boom, blows him away so badass. The axe comes back to his hand. And who is this in the sky? The Wind Rider. And I love this bit that Killmonger says, people of this village, your gods and hidden kingdoms will not protect you, but Killmonger and the Wind Rider will. Who do you think that is? Whoever you think that is, that's exactly who that is. That's Storm. Storm and Killmonger, they're together. Oh, that's interesting. Some more beautiful color choices here. And in Wakanda, to juxtapose the tragedy going on around them in West Africa, they are having a celebration of life. And during the celebration of life, during a speech, the protector that's up there with T'Challa reveals themselves to be an agent of Moon Knight for Khonshu, for Ra. T'Challa's up there, and this assassin, T'Challa, pops T'Challa off the platform blows up, T'Challa activates his nanotechnology, lands as the Black Panther, slightly different variation on the costume. He actually has a mouth that's shown here, but I do like that. It's like kind of one of the original ideas from Jack Kirby, I think, where he was going to have one of those. But T'Challa, he sees his dead father. My king, in his response, call the queen and my sister and the Voodoo Khan. Our enemies call themselves Moon Knight. Wakanda is at war. I tell you what, in hindsight, this is a really good first issue. We already know Black Panther. We know the story. They're using the popularity. Bryan Hill is the writer here. Bryan Hill has a really solid run on Batman and the Outsiders. He did a brief run that came right before that on Detective Comics, right after James Tynion had wrapped up his run, which is a fantastic run of Detective Comics. Bryan Hill's got a really solid book over at AWA called Chariot. It's kind of like Knight Rider, but what if Knight Rider was like more like a sexy chick car, and then all that kind of stuff. But Chariot's really good, and he's already done work on Black Panther. He did an excellent Killmonger series a few years ago with Juan Ferreira on the artwork that was really good, and he's currently tearing it up right now in the pages of Blade. This is a really great first issue. It leads to his strengths. He is a writer who has he doesn't rely on a lot of dialogue, a lot of narration. He doesn't rely on some of the easy tricks. He's got very brisk dialogue, but everything is very purposeful and realized. Like I was saying, the art has that sense of space. The writing and the script has that sense of space. It doesn't get bogged down in words. It allows the images to absolutely shine. Really solid book. The coloring is outstanding. This is one of the best colored Marvel comics I've read in a long while. It's Dave Curiel, I believe, on the coloring. We buy comics to shred them here, not shred them figured. I mean, that's figurative, you know. Anyway, yeah, David Curiel. Stefano Caselli's artwork is really great here. Corey Pettis' lettering is solid and exactly what you expect from a Jonathan Hickman world. But this is better the more you read it. Like, I think this is the third time I've read it, and I just read 3 and kind of felt a little over it. But going back here, I really like the deliberate nature of the pace of this. I'm really excited to dive back into issue 2 and then 3 again. And if you want to see them covered here on the channel, just let me know in the comments down below. But what do you think about Ultimate Black Panther? Let me know in the comments down below. If you haven't, I recommend checking it out. There's a few printings of this out there. But thank you so much for checking out the video. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Join us over at patreon.com/PCP if you want to help support the channel. I've been Rockin' Robbie Billups. Thanks for rocking with us. Station, keep on reading, y'all.